Welcome everyone to a journey back in time, to an era of unparalleled glamour, breathtaking talent, and a life lived so vividly it still echoes through the annals of history. Today we're diving deep into the extraordinary world of Elizabeth Taylor, a name synonymous with Hollywood royalty, a woman whose life was as dramatic and captivating as any film she ever starred in. We're not just talking about a movie star, we're talking about an icon who redefined what it meant to be famous, powerful, and profoundly human. From her striking violet eyes to her trailblazing activism, Elizabeth Taylor was a force of nature. She navigated a career spanning 6 decades, transforming from a beloved child star into an Oscar-winning actress, a pioneering HIV/AIDS activist, and a shrewd businesswoman. Her story isn't just a series of events, it's a masterclass in resilience, ambition, and unwavering compassion. So settle in, because we're about to explore the many facets of a woman who truly lived a life less ordinary. Let's begin at the very beginning, with her early life and the almost inevitable path to stardom. Elizabeth Rosemond Taylor was born on February 27, 1932, not in Hollywood, but in London, England. Her parents, Lenn Taylor and Sara Viola Warmbrodt, were affluent Americans. Her father was an art dealer, and her mother a former stage actress. So right from the start, Elizabeth was immersed in a world of art, culture, and privilege, growing up in the upscale London neighborhood of Hampstead. She even took up horseback riding at an early age, a passion that would later play a significant role in her career. The looming specter of World War II, however, changed everything. In 1939, her parents made the decision to leave Europe and return to the United States, settling in Los Angeles, California. This move, driven by global conflict, inadvertently set the stage for her Hollywood destiny. Taylor opened an art gallery in LA that quickly became a magnet for Hollywood's elite, placing young Elizabeth right in the heart of the burgeoning film industry. It truly feels like fate, doesn't it? Her breathtaking natural beauty, especially those famous violet eyes and a rare double row of eyelashes, was simply impossible to ignore. A family friend, Andrea Leeds, recognized this undeniable star quality and urged Sara to take Elizabeth for a screen test. In 1941, she was signed by Universal Pictures and made her screen debut in a minor role in There's One Born Every Minute in 1942. But here's where it gets interesting. A Universal executive actually terminated her contract after just a year, notoriously claiming she had nothing and that her eyes looked like an old woman's. Can you imagine? To dismiss such an undeniable talent so early on? It's a testament to how subjective and often short-sighted the industry can be. But, as it so often happens in Hollywood lore, her fortunes swiftly reversed. She secured an audition at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, and was cast in Lassie Come Home in 1943. While a minor role, it was memorable enough to pave the way for her breakout performance in National Velvet in 1944. This was the film that truly launched her into the stratosphere of child stardom. At just 12 years old, Taylor starred as Velvet Brown, a young girl who, against all odds, disguises herself as a boy to ride her horse in the Grand National. The film was a massive commercial success, grossing over $4 million, an astounding sum for the time, and instantly solidified her status as a bona fide child star. MGM, recognizing the goldmine they had on their hands, quickly locked her into a long-term contract. This period, while successful, was also a difficult and often stifling adolescence under the studio's tight grip. She described being treated like studio cattle, constantly molded into a wholesome, perfectly packaged starlet. It speaks volumes about the studio system of the era, where individual identity often took a backseat to manufactured image. Yet, despite these challenges, her early career was marked by several successful features, including Courage of Lassie in 1946, Life with Father in 1947, and Little Women in 1949. Now, the transition from child actor to adult leading lady is notoriously difficult in Hollywood. Many young stars fade into obscurity, unable to shed their juvenile image or adapt to more complex roles. But Elizabeth Taylor, ever the exception, made this shift seamlessly. Her first truly mature role was in the comedy Father of the Bride in 1950, co-starring the legendary Spencer Tracy. This film was an enormous hit, not only spawning a sequel, Father's Little Dividend in 1951, but more importantly, it proved to audiences and studio executives alike that Taylor was no longer just a child, she was a woman, capable of carrying adult narratives. Then came A Place in the Sun in 1951, a critically acclaimed performance directed by George Stevens. Starring opposite Montgomery Clift, Taylor played a wealthy socialite entangled in a tragic romance. Her portrayal earned her widespread praise and effectively silenced any remaining critics who might have dismissed her as simply a pretty face. This was a pivotal moment, showcasing her dramatic depth and proving she was much more than just her stunning looks. Taylor herself was eager to tackle more complex, dramatic material, but MGM ever focused on the bottom line and her undeniable beauty, primarily cast her in visually lavish yet often artistically unchallenging historical epics, such as Ivanhoe in 1952 and Beau Brummel in 1954. It's a common struggle for actors who are beautiful; they're often pigeonholed. But Taylor actively sought out roles that challenged her acting chops, like the tempestuous plantation wife in Elephant Walk in 1954. She wasn't content to just look pretty, she wanted to act. Her star power continued its meteoric rise with films like The Last Time I Saw Paris in 1954 and the sprawling Texas epic Giant in 1956. Giant was a monumental success, featuring Taylor alongside two other Hollywood titans, Rock Hudson and James Dean. This film cemented her status as one of Hollywood's most bankable and respected actresses, proving her ability to hold her own amongst legends. By the late 1950s, the industry's recognition of her talent was undeniable, and she began to pick up prestigious award nominations. She received her first Academy Award nomination for Best Actress for her role in Raintree County in 1957. This was followed by another nomination for Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in 1958, where she starred opposite Paul Newman, delivering a scorching performance, and then in 1959, a third consecutive nomination for Suddenly Last Summer, another intense adaptation of a Tennessee Williams play. This string of nominations really underscores her consistent excellence and her ability to bring complex, often tormented characters to life. And then, in 1960, she reached a career milestone, winning her first Academy Award for Best Actress for her performance as Gloria Wandress, a cynical call girl in Butterfield 8. Interestingly, Taylor herself heavily disliked the film. She viewed it as a mediocre melodrama that she was forced into by MGM to fulfill her contract. It's a fascinating paradox, isn't it? To win the highest honor in your field for a project you personally found uninspiring. Yet the award solidified her position at the absolute pinnacle of Hollywood royalty, proving that even in roles she wasn't passionate about, her talent shone through. Riding the wave of her Oscar win, Taylor was offered a record-breaking contract to star in the historical epic Cleopatra in 1963. This was a truly groundbreaking moment in entertainment history, as she became the first actress to be paid an astonishing $1 million for a single film. To put that into perspective, in today's money, that would be well over $8 million, and that's just the base salary. It was an unheard-of sum and a clear indicator of her immense star power and the power she wielded in negotiating her worth. However, the production of Cleopatra was famously chaotic. It was plagued by ballooning budgets, director changes, eventually helmed by Joseph L. Mankiewicz, and severe illnesses, including a near-fatal bout of pneumonia that required Taylor to undergo a tracheotomy. It was a production that felt cursed, costing so much it almost bankrupted 20th Century Fox. But despite all the drama and difficulties, Cleopatra is most famously remembered for sparking one of the most legendary romances in Hollywood history. It was on the set of Cleopatra that Taylor met her co-star, the charismatic Welsh actor Richard Burton. Both were married to other people at the time, which only fueled the fire. Their on-screen chemistry was palpable, and it quickly spilled over into a passionate, turbulent real-life affair. The romance generated an unprecedented media frenzy, relentlessly pursued by paparazzi and gossip columnists across the globe. It was the original celebrity scandal, playing out on a global stage. The Vatican even condemned their affair. Their relationship came to define the jet-set lifestyle of the 1960s. The public was utterly fascinated by their lavish spending, their diamond jewelry, their epic fights, and their undeniable fiery passion. They were the ultimate power couple, living life on their own terms, seemingly oblivious to or perhaps even thriving on the constant public scrutiny. Taylor and Burton eventually married in 1964, cementing their status as Hollywood's most scandalous and beloved pair. Together, Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton became an unstoppable force in cinema. They starred in a string of successful, critically acclaimed films together, truly leveraging their intense chemistry. Their on-screen collaborations included The VIPs in 1963, The Sandpiper in 1965, Dr. Faustus in 1967, and The Comedians in 1967. They were a package deal, and audiences flocked to see them. But their most celebrated collaboration, the one that truly showcased their raw, explosive talent, was the cinematic adaptation of Edward Albee's Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf in 1966. Directed by Mike Nichols, this film was a seismic event. Taylor, known for her glamour, shed all her opulent trappings to play Martha, a coarse, bitter, and aging academic's wife. She delivered a blistering, raw, and physically transformative performance that was unlike anything audiences had seen from her before. It was a complete departure, a brave leap into deeply unglamorous territory. And it paid off. Taylor won her second Academy Award for Best Actress for this role, a truly deserved win that proved her range and courage as an actress. Burton, too, delivered a masterful performance, though he did not win an Oscar for it. The success of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf proved definitively that Taylor was a formidable dramatic actress, capable of deep psychological character studies, not just a beautiful face in a historical epic. The couple went on to collaborate on several other projects, including The Taming of the Shrew in 1967 and Boom in 1968. Their partnership was legendary both on and off screen. Despite their deep, magnetic love, the Liz and Dick marriage was notoriously stormy. It was a whirlwind of passion and conflict. Both suffered from severe alcoholism, and their explosive arguments were frequent fodder for tabloid headlines. The immense pressure of living their lives under a continuous spotlight, coupled with personal demons, took a severe toll on the marriage. It's a classic example of how intense passion can sometimes be unsustainable under constant public scrutiny. Taylor and Burton divorced in 1974, after 10 years of marriage, but their story wasn't over. They simply couldn't stay apart. In a move that only added to their legendary status, they remarried in 1975 in Botswana. However, this second marriage was incredibly short-lived, ending in a final divorce in 1976. It was almost as if their love was too big, too intense, for the confines of conventional marriage. Their relationship remains one of the most iconic and tumultuous love stories in Hollywood history, a testament to a connection that transcended logic. Now, outside of her professional triumphs, Elizabeth Taylor's personal life, specifically her 8 marriages to 7 different men, was a constant source of public fascination. Her romantic history often threatened to overshadow her talent as an actress, and she remains heavily associated with the idea of serial romance. It's a narrative that the media love to play up, painting her as a woman constantly searching for love. Her first marriage was to Conrad Mickey Hilton Jr., heir to the Hilton Hotel fortune, in 1950. Taylor was only 18 years old. This marriage was by all accounts a disaster from the start. Hilton turned out to be an abusive gambler and an alcoholic, and the marriage ended in divorce after just 8 months. It was a harsh introduction to the realities of adult relationships, a stark contrast to the fairy tale she might have envisioned. In 1952, Taylor married the British actor Michael Wilding, who was 20 years her senior. This marriage provided Taylor with a sense of calm after the turbulence of her first. The couple had 2 sons, Michael Jr. and Christopher, and for a time, it seemed she had found stability. However, as Taylor's fame skyrocketed and Wilding's career stalled, the relationship deteriorated. They divorced in 1957. It highlights the challenges of navigating a relationship when one partner's star is rising dramatically and the other's is not. Within weeks of her divorce from Wilding, Taylor married the dynamic, charismatic film producer, Mike Todd. Todd was 23 years older than Taylor, and crucially, he spoiled her with lavish gifts, including magnificent jewelry, and treated her like the queen she was. The couple had a daughter, Liza, and Taylor often described Todd as one of the great loves of her life. He seemed to be the one who truly understood and appreciated her. However, tragedy struck just over a year into their marriage when Todd's private plane, the Lucky Liz, crashed in New Mexico in March 1958, killing all on board. This loss devastated Taylor, leaving a profound void in her life. In her grief, she found solace in the arms of singer Eddie Fisher, who was one of Todd's closest friends. Fisher, however, was married to America's sweetheart, actress Debbie Reynolds at the time. The ensuing scandal, with the media painting Taylor as a homewrecker, was immense. It was one of the biggest celebrity scandals of its time, deeply affecting her public image. Taylor married Fisher in 1959, but the marriage was widely seen as a mistake, lacking genuine passion, and built on the foundation of shared grief and scandal. While making Cleopatra, Taylor famously left Fisher for Richard Burton, leading to their divorce in 1964. After her final divorce from Richard Burton in 1976, Taylor sought a quieter, different kind of life. Later that year, she married John Warner, a prominent Republican politician who would later become a U.S. Senator. Warner's political career meant Taylor had to adapt to life in Washington, D.C. She actively campaigned for him, hosting lavish events and charming the political elite. It was a complete departure from Hollywood glamour. However, Taylor found the role of a politician's wife deeply stifling and grew increasingly depressed. During this time, she began to struggle with prescription medication addiction and overeating, a testament to how difficult it was for her to live a life that wasn't authentically her own. Taylor and Warner divorced in 1982. Taylor's eighth and final marriage was to Larry Fortensky, a construction worker and former truck driver whom she met at the Betty Ford Center in 1988. Taylor had checked into the facility to seek treatment for her addiction to prescription painkillers and alcohol. A brave and very public admission at a time when such things were often hidden. The couple married at Taylor's close friend Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch in 1991. This marriage, due to the significant difference in their backgrounds and ages, attracted considerable media attention. The two eventually divorced in 1996, though they remained good friends until the end of her life. This final marriage, in many ways, showed her continued capacity for love and her willingness to defy societal expectations. Beyond the dramatic personal life, Elizabeth Taylor was dogged by severe health issues throughout her life, frequently cheating death. Her resilience in the face of these medical crises became a defining aspect of her public persona. She was a survivor, constantly battling one ailment after another. In addition to her severe tracheotomy in 1961 during the Cleopatra production, she survived a series of major accidents and medical emergencies. She broke her back at least 5 times throughout her life. Initially on the set of National Velvet, when she fell from a horse, an injury that plagued her for decades, and later in life due to osteoporosis and a fall on a yacht. She underwent numerous orthopedic surgeries, including hip replacements, which caused her chronic pain. It's a stark reminder of the physical toll her demanding career and a lifetime of injuries took on her body. Taylor also suffered from skin cancer, benign brain tumor removal, and several bouts of near-fatal pneumonia. In 1990, she was hospitalized for months with a severe lung infection that required extensive medical intervention and respiratory support. Despite these harrowing health battles, Taylor often returned to the spotlight with seemingly boundless vitality, always ready for her next act. She had an incredible will to live, a fighting spirit that defined her. A significant, yet often less discussed aspect of Elizabeth Taylor's personal life was her conversion to Judaism in 1959. While she was raised nominally Christian, Taylor's interest in Judaism was piqued by her deep connections to the Jewish community in Hollywood, and most significantly, her marriage to Mike Todd, whom she considered the great love of her life. His Jewish heritage clearly resonated with her. Following Todd's tragic death, Taylor delved deeper into the study of Judaism. She took her conversion very seriously, studying under Rabbi Max Nussbaum of Temple Israel in Hollywood. Upon her conversion, she took the Hebrew name Elisheba Rachel. This wasn't a superficial choice, it was a deeply personal and spiritual journey for her. Taylor was a staunch and vocal supporter of Israel throughout her life. She frequently purchased Israeli bonds, attended rallies, and used her massive celebrity platform to support Jewish and Israeli causes. Her dedication to Judaism was unwavering, becoming an integral part of her identity, long after her marriage to Todd had ended. It speaks to her conviction and her willingness to stand up for her beliefs, even when it wasn't always popular or convenient. In addition to her acting career, Elizabeth Taylor was a remarkably savvy businesswoman, a facet of her life that often gets overshadowed by her acting and romances. In the early 1980s, she pioneered the celebrity fragrance industry, a venture that would eventually earn her far more money than her decades in the film industry. This was truly revolutionary. At a time when the idea of a celebrity perfume was virtually unheard of, Taylor partnered with Elizabeth Arden to launch her signature fragrance, Passion, in 1987. The perfume was an instant and massive commercial success, offering a glamorous, rich scent that resonated with consumers worldwide. She wasn't just slapping her name on a product, she was creating a brand. Following the success of Passion, she launched White Diamonds in 1991. White Diamonds became one of the best-selling, most iconic perfumes of all time. It established a gold standard for celebrity fragrances and generated billions of dollars in revenue globally. To give you an idea of its longevity and impact, White Diamonds is still a top seller today, decades later. Taylor was heavily involved in the development, marketing, and branding of her perfumes. She consistently displayed a sharp business instinct, ensuring she was paid exactly what she was worth and maintaining strict quality control over her brand. Her perfume empire transformed her into an extraordinarily wealthy businesswoman, enabling her to live in luxury and fund her future philanthropic endeavors. She wasn't just a pretty face, she was a shrewd entrepreneur who saw an opportunity and seized it, setting a precedent for countless celebrities who followed. While Elizabeth Taylor is remembered for her glamour and acting prowess, her legacy is equally defined by her pioneering, fearless activism during the HIV/AIDS epidemic in the 1980s. When the disease first emerged, it was heavily stigmatized, often referred to as gay cancer, and the medical establishment and politicians largely ignored the crisis. Many prominent celebrities refused to speak about the disease due to the societal prejudice surrounding the gay community. It was a terrifying, isolating time for those affected. Taylor, however, stepped forward when few others would. She lost several close friends to the disease, most notably her giant co-star Rock Hudson, whose tragic death in 1985 spurred Taylor into action. She publicly revealed that she had visited Hudson on his deathbed and became one of the first major public figures to confront the epidemic head-on. This was an act of immense courage, risking her own public image and career at a time when fear and ignorance were rampant. She lent her powerful voice to the cause, demanding more funding for research and speaking passionately about the need for compassion and care for those suffering from the illness. In 1985, she helped co-found the American Foundation for AIDS Research, AMFAR, serving as its national chairman and spearheading massive fundraising galas. Later in 1991, she established the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation, ETAF, to provide direct support to organizations offering care and services to people living with HIV/AIDS. Taylor utilized her celebrity status, her personal wealth, and her connections to raise over $100 million for the cause. She was known to walk the halls of hospitals, holding the hands of dying patients when others were afraid to touch them. This wasn't just about writing checks, it was about being present, offering comfort, and dismantling the fear and stigma, one handshake at a time. Her unflagging advocacy during the height of the epidemic dismantled societal stigmas and paved the way for broader public awareness and government funding. She frequently testified before Congress, fiercely criticized politicians for their inaction, and used every media opportunity to highlight the crisis. Her activism undoubtedly saved countless lives and fundamentally changed how the world viewed the epidemic. It is arguably her greatest legacy, a testament to her immense heart and her willingness to use her power for good. In her later years, Elizabeth Taylor transitioned gracefully from a cinematic siren to an elder stateswoman of Hollywood and a dedicated philanthropist. While she appeared less frequently in feature films, she continued to work in television and on the stage, proving her versatility and enduring love for her craft. In 1981, she made her Broadway debut in a revival of Lillian Hellman's The Little Foxes, receiving positive reviews for her performance. She also starred in several made-for-television films, including Malice in Wonderland in 1985 and There Must Be a Pony in 1986, and even made cameo appearances in popular series like General Hospital and The Simpsons. She was still a working actress, even as her focus shifted. Taylor's immense contributions to cinema and her monumental humanitarian work earned her numerous prestigious awards and accolades later in life. In 1993, the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences awarded her the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award, recognizing her years of relentless dedication to AIDS research and patient care. That same year, she received the American Film Institute's Life Achievement Award, cementing her place in cinematic history. In 2000, Queen Elizabeth II made Taylor a Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, DBE, in recognition of her services to drama and charity. France bestowed upon her its most prestigious award, the Légion d'honneur, in 1987. Additionally, in 2001, President Bill Clinton awarded Taylor the Presidential Citizens Medal, one of the highest civilian honors in the United States, for her exemplary philanthropic work. These honors from around the world underscore the global impact she had, not just as an actress, but as a humanitarian. Taylor spent her final years living in a sprawling estate in Bel Air, California. Surrounded by her legendary art, her famous jewelry collection, and her beloved family. She had 4 children, 10 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. She remained an outspoken and vibrant figure. She was particularly known for her fierce loyalty to her friends, her love of animals, and her unapologetic enjoyment of luxury. She lived life on her own terms until the very end. Elizabeth Taylor passed away on March 23, 2011, at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 79. The cause of death was congestive heart failure, a condition she had been battling for several years. Her passing marked the end of an era, prompting global tributes from fans, co-stars, and especially the LGBTQ+ community, who deeply revered her for her early AIDS activism. It was a profound loss for Hollywood and for the world. She was laid to rest at the Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, in a private ceremony attended by her family and close friends. Following her death, her incredible life and personal effects became the subject of intense public interest. A historic auction of her vast jewelry, art, and fashion collections by Christie's broke numerous world records, with a significant portion of the proceeds benefiting the Elizabeth Taylor AIDS Foundation. Even in death, her generosity and commitment to her cause continued. Elizabeth Taylor's legacy is truly multifaceted, a tapestry woven with threads of glamour, grit, and generosity. In the realm of cinema, she is remembered as one of the last true stars of the studio system. She possessed a natural, intuitive talent that developed over decades, transitioning from a beloved child star to a versatile award-winning actress. She delivered iconic performances in films like National Velvet, A Place in the Sun, Giant, and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, each one a testament to her range and power. Off-screen, Taylor's life served as the ultimate Hollywood narrative. Her turbulent romances, her legendary beauty, and her unapologetic lifestyle captivated the public for over half a century. While the media frequently focused on her personal drama, Taylor herself was a woman of immense resilience and courage, weathering storms that would have broken lesser individuals. She faced public scrutiny, scandal, and personal tragedy with an almost defiant strength. Her pivot to HIV/AIDS activism remains one of the most vital chapters of her life. She leveraged her fame to combat a disease that society wanted to ignore, saving countless lives and fundamentally changing how the world viewed the epidemic. She didn't just lend her name, she threw herself into the fight, using her voice and her resources to make a tangible difference. This was not a calculated career move. It was a deeply personal crusade born out of compassion and a sense of justice. She was also a woman who was acutely aware of her own worth, constantly demanding respect and equal pay in a male-dominated industry, setting a crucial precedent for actresses who followed. Her $1 million salary for Cleopatra wasn't just a number, it was a statement. And her setting the blueprint for modern celebrity entrepreneurship with her fragrance empire showed her keen business acumen. She understood the power of her brand long before personal branding was a common term. Elizabeth Taylor was an amalgamation of grit and glamour. She survived poverty. Well, perhaps not poverty in the traditional sense, but certainly the emotional poverty of a child star losing her childhood, scandal, and countless medical emergencies, to emerge as a trailblazer, a survivor, and an icon. Her violet eyes, her undeniable talent, and her massive heart left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the world at large. She was a woman who lived fully, loved passionately, and fought fiercely for what she believed in. She was, in every sense of the word, unforgettable. Her story is a powerful reminder that celebrity can be used for profound good, that resilience can overcome immense personal struggles, and that true glamour comes not just from outward appearance, but from an inner strength and a compassionate spirit. She was truly one of a kind. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the extraordinary life of Elizabeth Taylor. Until next time, keep exploring the fascinating stories that shape our world.